Oh, it's time. Time to get radical.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Comment of the Week for February 3rd through February the 9th. I haven't done one of these in a while, so I'm going to do something kind of special today. There's going to be 10 comments, all right? The top 3 comments are going to be the medalist, all right? But the 7 I read out before then are going to be honorable mentions. So usually there's 3 honorable mentions, but today, supersizing this shit, it's going to be 7 honorable mentions. All right, first off, we have Destroyer of Heroes. Something to consider. The best part of comment of the day is just the interaction between you and the audience. It doesn't have to fit a particular format like being daily or weekly, or a long or short comment. How about just picking a particular topic and then using comments that relate to the topic or just simply help to make the topic interesting? I think people would dig that. That way, more than just 3 comments would get featured in a video. You could even put a gold star on the comments that you feel are really well thought out or spot on. I totally understand how doing comment of the day was a ton of work and could be stressful, especially the fact you're prone to being OCD and all. This way it would be all more stress-free and still resonate with the audience on a more personal level. If anybody is actually still reading this, let me just say that John Hancock looks like Bear Calvary Fred Flintstones, and he probably threw his back out by bobbling his head around in every video. Museum 2027. Existential crisis. I think there's a very easy answer for this one, Rick. Because YouTubers like MGR, who've been around for a very long time, probably have all either wanted to do what Hancock did, and his critics' channels, or they have secretly done it, talk about copy striking, and never got called out. I believe the potential loss of fans plays a role as well. In terms of Reggie's upload defending the employee, talking about the GameStop video from last January, well, I'd imagine there are a lot of progressive leftist people in the MGR fan base that are a lot of gamers in that ideological camp. And there's a fair-sized transgender community in the gaming sphere as well. So not coming out publicly and disagreeing with Reggie's take on it may cause a loss of respect or subscribers. On the other hand, most of the people already upset with how Hancock was weathering his criticism are already actively not fans of the crew like yourself, or people who found out through his critics. Sure, I saw a lot of comments on review text content. In fact, a few stated they didn't. And if MGR comes out and says something about it, it'll just draw more attention to it, whether he agrees or not, which will probably reflect negatively on the crew as a whole. So waiting and letting it die out is the most optimal for all associated. Plus, if he did say anything, it'd be, give the great guy another chance, won't you? Without probably even addressing what exactly he did. The Cybernator UK. This makes me wonder, was John Hancock truly a friend of theirs, or was it really some way of just promoting John's channel and giving MGR some extra content for his channel? If they were truly friends, I mean real friends, they'd be there no matter what. They'd show some support for their friend. That is just what friends do. Or at least, that is just what I thought. If one of my boys was in trouble, the first thing that we would need to do, let's get the gang involved. I'd support them no matter what, and I know each one of my inner circle has my back. No ifs, no buts. One is it's a fix. The boys would all band together. That is just what happens. However, has John Hancock just been hung out to dry by them? That, for me at least, shows me the MGR crew are their channels first and friendships second. It's all about hard cash, and imagine if that's the case, then it's never good to be part of that group. My moral conscience wouldn't let me stoop to that level. We don't know for sure what has gone on behind closed doors, but surely with people so active on social media, they'd put something up for their friend. Shelf warmer. Surely, there would be something in the MCN contract about not violating terms of service, like using one's channel for illegal activity, and false copyright claims are illegal last time I checked. What is to stop someone getting salty with someone else in the same NCN and pulling this shit? jealous of maybe a better deal the other has, or getting more exposure than another. These people have very fragile egos, only a matter of time when they start fighting amongst themselves. It's happened before, I'm sure. That guy with the glasses? They would have to draw a line somewhere. Something like that could cause an MCN civil war. Again, TGWTG comes to mind, and no one would be able to make their sweet, sweet revenue. MGR has quite a few videos on his channel of John and his game dungeon. So what is to stop a jilted and salty John from flagging those videos in a fit of rage after being hung out to dry by Jason and the MGR crew? Seeing quite a bit of infighting on both sides. Some of it serves a purpose. Some of it just dregs in the gutter, flapping around like fish out of the water for attention. Watch out for divide and conquer tactics in our community. And keep an eye out on Trojan horses until they prove themselves over time. Time will tell with all of this. Next up, Wolfpack 1. Please guys, I need everyone to open their hearts and chip in what they can. I'm starting a GoFundMe for Rich from Review Tech USA to get him spine replacement surgery. Wait, hear me out. It's not e-begging, just think of it as a tip jaw. He seems to have lost his spine, and I'm assuming he's already retraced his steps for those past 48 hours and looked everywhere. I mean, who knows where it could be? Possibly in his other pants? Maybe between the cushions of his couch? For all we know, it could have fell out while he was putting gas in his car on the way home from his job where he works. Wait, maybe not that last one. I forgot his work is located in his basement. I mean, come on, people. We have to feel for him. It's not like YouTubers gets to upload their content at zero cost to them. It's not like all monetary gain generated from said content is 100% profit. I don't know how much spine costs nowadays on the black market, but we need to start somewhere. I am a huge believer that the strong should always uphold the weak. Poor Rich seems to be as weak as they come. Let's all contribute as much as we can. After all, an e-beggar is a terrible thing to waste. Attack of the Pixels. The Streisand effect is a phenomenon where an attempt to hide, remove, or censor a piece of information has the unintended consequence of publicizing the information more widely. I think the origin of the Streisand effect is from years back when some paparazzi found out that Barbra Streisand had a hidden mansion. They found public records of it and then found the land and managed to sneak on the property and get beyond all the strategically placed trees and fake rocks. They found a massive compound. Went so far as to have the public records of the mansion removed, and by the country level, by trying to hide the information, she ham-fistedly brought the eyes of millions to what she was doing, and when it was all over, people from all over the world traveled to her hidden mansion to see if they could really get a glimpse of it. And the last honorable mention comes to us from ServBot42. It's pretty obvious I'm not fond of the MGR crew, but I'm willing to let go their past actions I don't agree with if they just drop John altogether. Of all the things the crew has done, good and bad, it has always been centered around their viewers. People can sadly say that no matter what they do in terms of Patreon, donations, sudden personal family expenses, etc., at least they didn't bust a John Hancock. What that little cretin did was something that only faceless companies would do. It affected everyone on YouTube. I'm kind of glad Rich said something, because if these strikes would have stayed, striking channels because of thumbnails would be a trend to the thin-skinned YouTubers, and eventually the whole channel itself. I know the blind defenders will say we are exaggerating, but they need to see the bigger picture here. It only took a couple of people adopting Patreon back in the day before it became a thing. It only took that bitch Vox crying to YouTube for a week on Twitter for the platform to screw over everyone. Had people not spoken up about it, it would have taken 2 YouTube channels to make a copyright striking thumbnails the norm. I really do not like this man more than ever. I have more respect for the MGR crew than him. As I said before, I don't like this man so much that I'm willing to see past the MGR crew's shortcomings if they kick him out. I know you're watching, John. We all know you can't handle any criticism. It's what a bitch does. You are not immortal. You are definitely not humble. You're a shitty individual who will not be remembered. We all know the museum isn't happening. And just by the chance that you do scam idiots into making it, nobody will come see it. Because their cherished memories will be at home when they played their games, not in some shit warehouse where you can only see it behind a glass case. You are a piece of shit, John. You don't even deserve a platform on YouTube. See, I went to again. I think we're down to the medalist right now. Okay, the bronze medalist comes to us from Billy Sosa. I have been thinking, and I think you should avoid referring to this as a movement or a community, because although there are many good, level-headed, and intelligent people here, it groups you in with bad actors who go about things the wrong way. I believe this is why you are viewed as toxic by some. In my opinion, you are not toxic at all, and it is a certain element of your audience that is, and you get unfairly grouped in with this. Also, I think you should move away from the term e-begging or anti-e-begging because I don't think it properly represents what you stand for and makes it easy for those who don't agree with you 100% to dismiss your points. I realize there is a lack of a better term as I cannot come up with something myself. I feel that there might be a negative reaction to this comment, but I assure you that I only have the best intentions and only want to increase the credibility of what you do and say. I love this channel and would love to see it grow and prosper. Thank you, Rick. You have been an inspiration to me, and I will continue to try to be one of many good examples of what your audience should be. Peace. That's some good questions there. I think about that a lot. I do. Terms community or a movement. Like when people say that they saw my channel as a movement, like in 2019, I can't lie. Sometimes you get caught up in it. You know, sometimes you get caught up in it. You have so many people visiting your channel, so many people saying they're behind you 100%. You get caught up in it. And there were times where I was pushing like a madman to upload as many like anti-e-begging videos as I could because I saw myself and this channel is a platform people would rally around with good intentions. Because we saw a lot of channels out there on YouTube manipulating a lot of people. There's too many to count. But sometimes you can have good intentions, but it can have bad consequences. Sometimes that can draw bad actors to your channel, like you said in your comment. Well, I don't know if you mentioned that, but I think you mentioned it before here. We talked about that. It's a balancing act. It really is. And that's why I made the comment. I think I made the comment that it can be very stressful running a channel like this. Some days you just want to whip out your vacuum cleaner and make silly videos, you know, with cereal. Okay? That, to me, that's a vacation to me. Okay, I know there's some channels that upload silly stuff like that all the time, and they call that their job. Okay? That's silly. That's fun. That's easy. But uploads like the last couple days, those are tough. Those require a lot of finesse and thought, and, you know, it's a juggling act. It really is. Now, you talk about how a lot of people, you know, view me as toxic. I get passionate sometimes. Billy, I do. I mean, if I see a motherfucker on YouTube and they're doing some shady shit, it's hard not to feel passionate about it. Like, it's hard not to. Now, does it follow with me the rest of the day when I'm off the computer recording these? Not really. I mean, sometimes here or there I might have a sit down with Kenny and talk about some things, but it doesn't follow me outside of this. But I get in the zone. And when I'm recording, I get in the zone, and people leave me links, and I'm like, okay, now we go into radical mode, right? It's, like I said, it's sometimes it's not, it ain't perfect. I mean, no one's perfect, so I'm trying to get this perfect. But I feel that we broke new ground in many ways on this channel in 2019. As far as just an open discussion channel, trying to be fair to a lot of different people, trying to give everybody a voice that was just not here to be a fucking troublemaker and to troll and shit. If you came here and you had a view or a perspective that was different than my own, I didn't shout you down like some other channels might. Okay, I wanted to hear you out. The silver medal today comes to us from P.O. Box Christmas. YouTube is busted. The copyright strike system is not the only lost cause, But the whole shadow ban system and deletion comment system is insane. There should at least be something in place to let a commenter know that their comment is banned / deleted / pending approval, etc. instead of us just having to log out and check and see if our comments are even really there. Most of these butthurt e-beggars or shill masters already have me on Instaban. I posted this over on Tipster's video about Hancock. John has been doing shady stuff like this for a while now. He did this and much worse to the immoral and Warehouse Dave, to name a few. There was a legit Facebook group of friends of Hancock saying they were going to false flag channels in defense of John. The screenshots and their names were posted on YouTube showing the whole thing. Also, 8-Bit Eric was openly attempting to dox Radical Rick. These YouTubers love living the double life. They act all professional, nice guy on their main channel and then play stupid games on their sock accounts and with their buddies. You say you don't feed the trolls, maybe you should tell these guys don't be the trolls. It's funny how none of these channels reporting on this even know or even care that John Hancock has been attacking much smaller channels for months now. It's a shame that it only matters when it's one of their buddies' big channels. Hancock actually says, feel free to comment below, and then he deletes the comments. Have you guys noticed that so many of these channels that say they dislike Rick's channel and the people who follow Rick's channel are now saying the exact same things we've been saying for over a year? Yeah, we were trolls when we did it, but now they are just evening news broadcast reporting on the big news story, right? A lot of things there. First off, the comment system. I don't like the comment approval system right now as it stands. I think there could be tweaks made to let someone know that their comment is pending approval. It's just kind of broken right now. That being said, it is a tool for YouTubers to use in the correct way. I'll give you an example. And I don't think I've ever mentioned this before on the channel. Several months back, there was someone that came to the channel. I think it was called Radical Justin. I'm not sure. And what they left was a YouTuber. And there was crosshairs on the thumbnail of the YouTuber. And I've saved some of these comments. Stuff like that. People saying things about people's families. That kind of thing. That is why the system exists. Okay, you got to keep some people on a short leash. That's what I refer to it as. Some people you need to keep on a short leash. Now, if somebody comes here and right away, if it says radical, then I'm going to question it. Okay, is this a troll account? In that case, like I said, it was somebody that was just here specifically to cause problems. They were not here to interact in the open discussion here. They were not here to interact. I think where some people have it wrong, though, is that John Hancock, he would actually just delete comments or shadow ban people, or, if you mention museum in his comment section. It got really crazy to the point, like I featured in a video once that there was only 64 comments on one of his uploads. It had, I think, like 5,000 views. And if I brought attention to a comment, he would quickly delete it. And it would just be people like Super Andrew 64 just asking him, are you going to delete this comment? Okay, that shit is insane. Now, I think he might have gotten better since then. Some of you have said that he still is shadow banning you, but it seems like for a while, right after the Review Take USA video, he got better. I would even dare say he was approving most comments after that, okay? But this is what happens. When a very bright light is shined upon the wrongdoings of YouTubers, it shames them. It shames them into doing better. But as time goes by, as the focus goes away, that light fades away. So then what happens is a YouTuber might go back exactly to what they were doing because, well, the light is gone. And the fear of being exposed is also gone. And I'm not joking here. I mean, I could make a joke about Rich's weight. I used to, but he's actually lost a good bit of weight. Rich's channel carries weight. It's a bigger channel. And that's just the way things happen here on YouTube. Okay. You would need a ton of small channels, making videos about people like John Hancock to equal the effect that that one video actually had on John Hancock. Okay. Now, I will shift because I don't want to go too long with that one instance. I will shift to the end here where you said, and there's maybe one or two things. I want to send this out here to people. I want to let people know this. If I choose a comment to feature here or anywhere, it does not specifically mean I agree 100% with everything that was written in the comment. Okay, there might be a time or two where there's one or two things in the comment I don't agree with, but it doesn't mean that they aren't medal worthy. And I think this comment was very worthy of the silver medal, even though there might be maybe one or two things here I don't 100% agree with. Okay, so I want to put that out there. Okay. Towards the end here, you talk about how there was people that used to say they disliked my channel. But now, hey, it's all good. It's all cool, right? John Hancock videos, right? Yeah, you see them everywhere. Seeing them everywhere now. Ain't that weird? Ain't that weird? You know, what was that phrase? Johnny come lately? Johnny come lately, isn't that the phrase? Where certain people are innovators, and then they bring things to light, and then other people follow. And then it's modernized. Is that a term? Like, there's probably a better word for it, but it's modernized, right? So now it's the in thing. It's the in thing. About a year late, I would say, to certain channels. Next Christmas, and now we get into the gold medal, baby. The gold. And the gold medal shines very brightly on VGHC. Many people seem to love the new Smash. Talking about Smash JT. And at first I was like, hey, maybe he's turned over a new leaf. But now I'm not so sure. After his whole quitting thing, he's back to his real videos. To me, it comes off as, if I'm going down, I'm taking you with me. He's gone from MGR bootlicking to flipping on them. Now, he certainly has it right with John. He has a right with John. That just ain't cool, the copy striking. But Smash can't take criticism either. So I'm not sure he's one to call that out on anyone. His new videos seem to come from an emotional point and very reactive. They don't feel real and down to earth like he says they will be. As he said in another recent video, YouTubers make videos for views. I feel he's trying to fuel his own fire here. He has a beef with John, no doubt. But I think this is bringing him more attention than other videos, so why not keep it up? He clearly wants to be a big YouTuber still. I just feel he's grasping on a little too hard. I'm not sure this is the real down-to-earth Smash he's claiming to be. I feel like this guy should really take a break and regroup if YouTube is really what he wants to do. But honestly, I don't see him any different than the people he's calling out. No, he hasn't sent any false strikes that we know of, but he's just as guilty as most of the other stuff he's calling people out for. You bring up a lot of good points here. It's a curious case. It really is. I would say towards the last part of 2019 going into early 2020, it's one case where you bring up a name. There are certain people, like a John Hancock, well, obviously, you know how I feel about John. You know how I feel about a Jason, right? You know how I feel about maybe like a Scott the Waz, for instance, you know? And that annoys one or two people that I always, brag on Scott the Waz. So I continue doing it just to trigger you. Ha! I also brag on a Gajillionaire, okay? But you know how I feel about certain channels in general, right? I'm like, hey, a channel, naughty begging, good content like a Gajillionaire, easy, right? It gets a little tricky and confusing with someone like a Smash JT. Because I'll tell you right now, I really do wish he would drop that Patreon. I really do wish he would drop that PayPal. I would say as far as open discussion and commentary, like a lot of you call him Trash JT, but I do think that there's a potential for a Smash JT. I mean, he's never going to be this radical, of course, I mean, who can? But I think there's a potential with a Smash JT to really rise above. And he could really be, I think, a great commentary channel. A lot of people really go to the channel and they say, Rick, he's turned over a new leaf. It's really interesting, right? Pump the brakes. Hold the phone now. Hold the phone. You got to leave open the idea that this guy could possibly still be a master manipulator. You got to leave that idea open because, I mean, he seems like a very intelligent individual. Okay. So I mean, like I said, it's hard for me to really pin someone like that down because there's so many different moving parts there. All right. And one thing you bring up is, I think the last commenter brought it up, that some people, Johnny come lately. Okay. I think of this person. Too little too late, you might say. Now, what happened to him was terrible. The false copy striking from John Hancock, that was terrible. It was also terrible when it happened to D-Dave. But it was also terrible when it happened to Warehouse Dave and Immoral. But you don't really, I don't think Smash ever brought that up. I don't think he ever did in his uploads. It's very easy to get mad if something happens to you. Okay? Very easy to get mad if something happens to you. And he's justified in getting mad for what happened to him. But wait a second now. He's not the first one that it happened to. He's not the first one. Odds are, and I think he'll probably admit this too, odds are, if it just stayed at Warehouse Dave and Immoral and maybe other people, smaller YouTubers, I don't think he would have given a shit. Do you really see Smash JT giving a shit if it didn't happen to him? Or maybe, I don't know if he's really good friends with D-Dave. You know, moderately, a little bigger YouTubers, right? Not really small YouTubers. And I know Smash isn't a big channel, but you know what I'm saying? Like, he had a lot of connections to bigger YouTubers. He was in maybe Clicks, or maybe he wanted to be in Clicks. I'm not sure, whatever. But what I'm saying is, would he have cared as much? I don't think he would have cared. I don't think he would have. I think John Hancock could have went on a copy striking spree through all of 2020 and never stopped, and Smash JT would not have covered it. I'm not blaming him for not covering that, because he was not that kind of a channel, really. I mean, he mostly talked about gaming news, things of that nature. There was a shift, though, and he shifted like on a dime almost to doing critical satire. He shifted. He talked about, I think, Wood. He talked about some other people. And it's interesting because it's kind of what I would view as maybe like a mainstreamish type YouTuber, how they might do it. When I talk mainstream YouTuber, I mean someone that has a PayPal and a Join. That's considered mainstream YouTuber. Okay. Any self-respecting mainstream YouTuber has that stuff. My problem is it comes across a little, I mean, it's kind of a joke in ways. VGHC. You touched upon this in your comment. It's kind of a fucking joke if you actually think that you're going to be a critical satire channel, if you're going to be a call-out channel, and you have a Patreon.